And while I was there, Vietnam became pretty heavy. So they needed medical people to volunteer to go, medics, you know. So I volunteered to go back to medical school to become a medevac medic. And by that I mean I would fly on military planes that were bringing bodies and bringing injured people back from Vietnam. Well, we would fly them from Vietnam to Japan, and then after they were stabilized and whatever, depending on what their injuries were, you flew them from Japan back to the United States.
So were you a part of flying? You flew?
No,
You were just alone?
I was there treating the patients on the plane.
Did you stay for a long time in Vietnam?
The longest time I was in Vietnam was probably 30 days.
30 days, about a month.
But most of the time it was from Osaka, Japan to Vietnam, back to Osaka, Japan. You go in, you pick up the patients, and you fly back out.
What kind of training did you have to go through in the Air Force? Or to be a medic, anything?
Okay, I went through they have a course that's normally 52 weeks, which is, after you complete the course, you could pass the test as a nursing assistant. But what I did was, since we had already went to our medical training, and I was going to be a medic in the hospital, they sent us back to the school at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, to become medevac people, or medical, and work in the field medical. And we went to school for 36 weeks, half of the training, and we did everything that people did in 52, we did it in 36. Then after we did that, we had to go to 6 weeks of training in the swamps. And that was in Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. We went to swamp training in the Everglades. And then after we finished that training, we were sent to Fort Huachuca, Arizona for 6 weeks of training in the desert. And then we were deployed.
Did you experience racism in the Air Force?
Yes. That was the first time someone called me a nigger.
To your face?
To my face.
What happened? Do you remember?
Yes. I was in basic training, and the person that did it was the sergeant, our drill sergeant, in charge of us. And I had been in training, at that time, it was 12 weeks, so I had been in training about 8 weeks. And I was ordered to do something, and I hadn't completed it. And she said, "Nigga, you are very slow, and you're going to have to do that." And when she said it, I just lost it. I hit her. So I was taken to the commander's office, and the commander told me that I was going to be discharged. So I begged her not to discharge me. I didn't want no bad discharge. So she said the only way I would be able to stay in would be for them to drop me back for 2 weeks. So I said, okay, I'll take the 2-week drop back rather than get a bad discharge.
Was there any hard feelings between you and the person that called you that? Did you go back to her, or was it a different person?
Oh, I went back to her just to pick up my stuff. And she was saying, well, I didn't mean that. And, to protect her. But I knew they weren't going to do anything to her.
White woman?
Yeah. So they didn't do anything to her, so.
Was that the only time you've been called?
Oh, no. Once. That happens, a lot when you were, whether we were overseas or whether we were in Washington, D.C., didn't matter where you were in the military, you were called a nigger. At some point in time, somebody was going to let it slip.